Good evening and welcome back to the number one group of six college football show in the history of the world. This is the Group of Five Guys presented by FanDuel. Our mission is to be the voice for the group of six football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. Almost forgot the whole intro, Jeff. On this episode, we are going to talk about the new 24-team playoff proposals set by the AFCA, talk about some different ideas that are floating around with that. We're going to talk about sort of a viral graphic that went around on the socials this week and this weekend about teams' records versus ranked teams. Plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five Guys, and we are coming to you live.
They got Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. The Group of Five Guys told me that, so that has to be true.
We looked at each other, we was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five Guys, right?
Troy has won, it's been a winner, and it's a special place, so it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
Jeff, it's been a while. Been a couple weeks. Like I said, I almost forgot the damn intro.
I know. You recovered pretty well.
I stumbled through it a little bit, but we got through it. Lots happened, man, since we've last talked. The NFL draft happened a couple weeks ago. By the way, I am under a tornado watch. I don't think it is yet a tornado warning. But, in case you see some lights flickering, or, if we get one, I'm going to tell you, we don't have any kind of bunker, but this house is gone. This thing is,
not built sturdy.
No, they put it together with some super glue and popsicle sticks and toothpicks. So we're gone. So, let's
hope and pray that doesn't happen.
Let's hope and pray that we stay safe tonight. But Jeff, I haven't really talked to you since the draft. Your Raiders going Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall. How are you feeling about the draft, man?
I feel great about the draft, to be honest with you. Every offseason move that the Raiders have made, I don't have a complaint about it. I like who we got in the draft. You swung on Mendoza. I think it was the right pick with the number 1, especially this year with quarterbacks. And we haven't swung on a quarterback in forever, so I'm good with it. And what else do you want more to the guy to do, right? National championship, Heisman, has all the accolades. I think he's ready to go. And what I love even more is he's going to get to sit behind Kirk Cousins. At least I think that is what they should do, knowing Tom Brady, Kubiak. You don't go and get Kirk Cousins to be a backup. I think he's going to start the year and see where it goes from there. But, everywhere else that they went, they filled needs, not only in the draft, but in free agency right before the draft. So, I hate to break it to the world, but guys,
jeez,
Raiders are winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't see any other way around it. How about your Fins?
Well, went Group of Five guy in round 1, Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. So obviously I was excited about that. The Dolphins, the Dolphins are in a complete rebuild. They let everybody go. Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Only person they kept was A-Chain. So, and then in free agency, they went and got Malik Willis, another Group of Five guy, QB1 down in Miami. Now, I will say this. I don't know if you saw Malik Willis throw out the first pitch for the Marlins the other night.
I did not.
Let's hope that that's no indication of what kind of passes. The guy, I never understood that. I never understood, Jeff, you're a quarterback. I know it's a different release. I know all the things, but I'm talking about he airmailed it. You remember the 50 Cent opening pitch that went viral several years. Like it was like, I mean,
Wasn't even
10
close,
feet,
huh?
10 feet high and behind if there was a batter standing there in the right-handed batter's box.
I mean, it's not that much different. I mean, it is when you're talking about like throwing in a football game and pitching in an MLB game. Like, yeah,
Right.
that's different. Throwing out a first pitch. I mean, he should be able to pipe it.
We're
right
lobbing
in
it in there in that general vicinity, and they're going to make the play.
Well, here's the deal, Sprouse. I think this is probably why FanDuel has the Miami Dolphins at plus 25,000 last chance in the league to win the Super Bowl, with my Raiders being plus 12,000. A little bit
pick.
better.
A lot of value in the Dolphins.
Lot of value.
A lot of value in taking the Dolphins, Jeff. Man. Yeah, dude. I mean, you see, I got the T-ball. I got my coaches. I've been pitching all day today. I don't throw a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, everything I throw is getting over the plate. So, but we had our last game, last little
There you
league,
go.
last T-ball game
No
tonight.
playoffs down there in
before
Columbus,
storm.
huh?
Not in T-ball.
Oh, we got
Bro,
playoffs in T-ball up here.
You're talking to the 2006 Little League World Series champions, the league I'm in. We're playing it. This is serious. They were honest to God, Jeff. We did our little end of the year, pizza thing after the game.
Yeah.
And it started storming. We were like, we got to get out of here. They got playoffs. They were practicing. And it was like lightning bad. And I was like, man,
Dedication.
hey man, whatever it takes to win the 9U World Series. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. But anyway, Jeff, you've been watching any NBA playoffs now that your Dubs are out of there. The Heat, I mean, this is the first time the Heat hadn't been in the playoffs pretty much in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not as locked in as I was before the Warriors got bounced. And honestly, when the Heat play too, I kind of root just because they're your team. But man, the Minnesota Timberwolves are fun to watch.
I like watching the T-Wolves.
I like Ant-Man. I like the way they play. Never been a Spurs fan. Never been a Popovich fan, to be honest. And I just associate that organization still with him, even though he's no longer there. And then I don't know, not a huge Wemby guy, so I'm going Timberwolves. I think the rest of the way.
Yeah, I like the T-Wolves. I'll tell you what I hate, and they're probably going to win the whole thing. And I haven't been watching. Like, I'm with you. Like, I used to be a big NBA guy, and part of it is because the Heat have always been a contender. But dude, it's a tough watch. Have you watched the Thunder?
Oh, they're the worst to watch. They're brutal.
I mean, I've never seen. What are the FanDuel odds on SGA free throw attempts?
That's a good.
I mean, this guy, dude.
Good one.
I know people, in college football, they talk about the ratings are being good, so everything's all as well because the ratings are good. And in the NBA, like, people kind of talk about the ratings being bad or whatever. And I'm not, whatever. Ratings don't care to me. I just care what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've got a guy who's arguably the best player in the NBA that flops around the way this guy SGA does, I mean, it's bad. That's why LeBron's a flopper too, but not like this guy. That's why LeBron's at 41 years old and is still kind of the face, because they're waiting for somebody that can come in and be a player and isn't going to miss 70% of the season because they're hurt, or isn't going to be you got these guys like Harden and SGA that, like, this is a football show, by the way, if you're new here, but like these guys, I feel like we've talked about this before, Jeff. These guys, their goal is to draw the foul. It's not they don't even try to score.
Yeah.
They're not even attempting to make the shot they take. They're just flailing themselves into a defender and hoping for a call. And then you spend half the game at the free throw line.
It's brutal. That's why I like
It's
Ant-Man.
embarrassing.
He reminds me of just kind of homage to the past type of player. Like, just plays two-way guard, can shoot it, can drive, can play great defense, rebound. Like, he does it all. And he's been kind of dinged up, and he didn't start the other night, but he came off the bench because they needed him, and they ended up winning.
Yeah. Well, and you got these guys too, like Luka and Kawhi, all these stars. I mean, these are stars. These are best in the game kind of guys that they sit out on every back-to-back. They sit out every other night. They don't play road games. They do this, they do that, and then they're still not available.
Yeah.
That Luka Anthony Davis trade, like, those guys, neither of them play. I mean, it's like you
Yeah.
can talk about who got the better of none of them play in the playoffs.
Probably, yeah, I don't know. Mavericks probably.
Jeff, I know 40-plus-year-old men that play 6 nights a week at the Y for like 4 hours straight. No breaks, no
night
nothing.
off.
They just got off. They get off their shift and they take their freaking work uniform off. They throw on their Kobe's and then they play basketball for 3-4 hours. They ain't load managing.
No.
They seem to make it. I mean, they seem to be just fine. Hey, that games are more physical than the NBA.
Oh, there's no question. No fouls being called.
All right, Jeff. Well, we got a little bit of college football breaking news with the AFCA, which is the Coaches Association, kind of throwing out this 2014 playoff proposal. They threw out a lot of proposals. The main things being, one, as everybody's been saying, is to shorten the season, get the season over with by that second week of January, be done with. And the other thing is getting rid of conference championship games, which, I don't know. I don't hate it as much as everybody else I think probably does. And the only reason I say that is because I'm an advocate for all the conference champions making the playoff. And I think, yes, it's what makes sports great, but I think it would be really unfortunate if you had, say, a 11-0, 12-0 Boise State or whoever, and they happen to lose in a championship game. I think that would be unfortunate for the collective as the group of 5 or group of 6, because you do want your best representative in there. Now, I also think from the standpoint of, not if I didn't have a dog in the fight per se, hey, go win the game. You're the best team, go win. That's your job. And that's what I would go say to, the other conferences.
Yeah.
It's like, tough break, win your conference. You know what I mean? But I do think there's something to, if it allows for shortening the window, it allows to keep Army Navy there. I don't hate it that much.
I'm okay with getting rid of the championship game as long as you find a way. See, with too many teams in the conferences now, though, it's going to be tough to have basically a regular season champ without being able to play the full schedule. So that's where the championship game does kind of matter. But as long as the conference champion, like regular season champion, is in the playoff and all 6 of them, I'm okay with eliminating that game. As long as we get every single conference has a rep as the champ, cool. I'm fine with it. But if we're not going to allow full access to every conference for their champion to get into the playoff, then I got a problem with it.
Well, and that brings me to the 24 team playoff. And there's really not been a official proposal as to how they would seed and how they would choose those 24. There's really 2 main scenarios, maybe 3, that I've heard floated around. One being you just take the top 24 teams. Now,
don't like that.
No, I don't like that at all, because you think about every top 25 poll that's come out in week 13 for the last decade. Yeah, there's all of them, and then let's throw Tulane in there at 25, or let's throw James Madison in there at 24. That's what it's going to be, and so you'll get 23 teams, and then you'll get one, and then you'll get to that team that's ranked 25, and they'll have a complaint because they don't get in, and which will probably be like the second best group of 6 team. You have 24 and 25 will be James Madison, Tulane, and one of them will get left out, and you get one. And now, to go back to the conference championship thing, let's not pretend like for the Power 4 schools that either of those teams is dropping out of the top 24 with a loss there. So I don't, where it currently stands, they may drop out of the top 12 or the top 10, top 9, whoever's going to get in there, but they ain't going to drop out of the top 24 if you're playing for a title game in one of those conferences. Not the way it stands today. Now the other option, which this is what I would love. I'm all about this. I still think 24 is a lot, but if it gets to this point, all 10 conference champions, and then give me 14 at large, I don't care. I do not care. Now, I would prefer that there's no other auto bids for a conference. I think an auto bid, our good friend Josh Pate tweeted about participation trophies. And I think people have this notion that it's like, yeah, participation for the group of 5, they get no. They won their conference. To me, the participation trophy is that 5th place SEC team or 4th place SEC team that still gets in because they play a hard schedule, supposedly.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. But if you do, what I don't like about auto bids after the conference champ is the seasons change all the time. So when you guarantee that there's going to be 4 SEC teams and 4 Big Ten teams and 4 ACC, like it's not usually like that. One year, hell, you look at last year, the ACC was terrible. Miami was really good. But who are you going to put in there? You're going to have SMU and thrown in the mix. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have Virginia and Duke in there if you get 4 ACC teams. And like you talk about not wanting to see Tulane and James Madison. You think you want to see that? Do you want to see Duke and Virginia in there? Of course not. But that's what you're going to get if you get auto bids more than the champion or maybe the runner-up for any conference. And that's for the group of 5, group of 6 included.
Well, that's where I think, to me, it makes sense. Like you give every conference champ a spot if they win their conference. Now, there's going to be a situation where you're going to have a tie, especially if you eliminate the championship game. I hate going to the computers and doing tiebreakers, but there's got to be a way to break those, number one, if you're going to eliminate that championship game. Number two, I hate giving a guaranteed number of auto bids. I think the conference champ, those guys get in. It doesn't have to be 1 through 10. It could be whatever decision the committee wants to put them at. I really don't care at that point. But after that, I think you look at everybody's body of work for the season and those 14 at large, or if you're a 20-team playoff, the 10, whatever is remaining, you look at their they're going to be ranked at that point anyways.
Right.
So then you can decide who gets the 10 at large, regardless of the conference. The only issue I do think you run in with that is the overinflation of the SEC and the Big Ten. But honestly, at that point, it's whatever. We got our champs in. So I don't really care, to be quite honest.
Agree. But here's the other thing though, Jeff. Here's the other issue you run in. Think about the last couple of years, right? Like if you limit, if it's auto bids for conferences, like the risk you run is, think about 2 years ago when Boise State's really good and they make the playoff, but UNLV's pretty damn good too as a Mountain West runner-up. And then you look at last year, Tulane's really good, American champ, but North Texas is pretty damn good too. And so my fear is that's why the auto bid outside of the conference champion doesn't make sense to me, because you don't know. One year you might get Tulane runs the table, wins the American, and the next best team is a 7-5 team. No problem. Give me Tulane, leave the other ones out. But then the next year, you might get a really good Tulane team and an 11-1 North Texas, or an 11-1 Army, or you know what I'm saying? And then you might get an ACC year where Clemson's really good, Florida State's really good, Miami's really good. You can put them in. But then you might get a year like last year when Miami's really good and SMU's pretty good and Duke's okay and Virginia's fine, Yeah. And so this notion that you guarantee the SEC 4 or 5 or 6, which, Jeff, did you see that? Did you know that only 6 programs have won the SEC at all since 1977? And I don't know exactly what the math is, but I'm pretty sure it's only 4 of them since like 1999.
Yeah.
And then I'm
because
pretty
Tennessee
sure
won it in
since
98.
1999, it's all but like 3 seasons. It's been Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got the LSU, they got their 2 years. You got Auburn in their 2 years. Other than that, ain't nobody winning that conference. So, to guarantee 6, like, yeah, dude, Georgia's going to be good. Bama's going to be pretty good. Texas is going to be pretty good most of the time. But then you look at programs like LSU or Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a perfect example where last year, yeah, man, they're really good. But then most of the time they're not that good. So that's where I hate this, that we use it as an indictment against the group of 5 or group of 6 where, oh, well, they're always not going to, there's always only going to be one team good enough to make it. And that's kind of a, a sympathy spot. Never can be more than one, no matter what, even though a lot of times there is 2 or 3 that are really good. And then on the flip side, always going to be 4 or 5 really good. Dude, last year's a perfect example of it. Perfect example of it. I mean, the Big Ten had probably Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon was good. That's it. The Big 12. Big 12? Are you kidding me? Playoffs. But like, who are you going to put in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's where I think you just got to go to the rankings at that point. Look at who they played. Because, look, there's no need for any conference, honestly, to have more than 3. Like, that would be the absolute maximum. And I don't think those should be guaranteed. I'm just saying, like, you can make an argument, especially if you're going to eliminate conference championship games, that like a second team who maybe was a game back.
That's right.
Can compete. Then, like, maybe if you have a conference that has 3, where maybe 2 and 3 were like lockstep to maybe make that championship game that's no longer being played. After that, there's no reason. Like, you weren't even in the hunt then for your conference championship. Why should you make the playoff? That's where I'm at. Like, 2 teams, 3 would be the absolute maximum because you got 3 that are just maybe really good that year, but you can't give automatic SEC's going to get 4, Big Ten's going to get 4. Like, no, we should not be doing that at all.
Mm-hmm.
As long as, again, give me every conference champ a spot in the playoff. And I'll say this too. They don't have to, they can be ranked whichever way they want. But I think if you win your conference, and as long as you don't have the bye, you get a home game.
I agree. If you're the best team in the country and you're a national champion team, you can go win a road game in December wherever you want, wherever it is. If you're the national champ, you could go win a road game in December. I mean, and if you can't, you're not good enough.
100%.
I mean, and again, we've talked about this a bunch. Is like, just think of that scene, dude. Think of the scene in mid-December in Boise, in freaking at West Point
2 years ago with Captain America. Ain't no team wanted to go up there and see Army.
Nobody wanted any part of that. I mean, we were there and watched Tulane not want any part of it.
It was like 18 degrees.
I didn't want any part of it. And I was standing there with hand warmers, and foot warmers and thermals on.
Give me that, please.
Jeff, I do want to talk about one more thing about the 2014 playoff. And this is something that's been an argument about allowing any group of 5 team in the 12-team playoff or the 4-team playoff. It's always been like, well, even if they get one game, they can never win. They can never rattle off 3 or 4 wins and get themselves in the championship. I will say this about having 24 teams. And this is something that happens in the NCAA tournament all the time. What happens when you do get that upset in the first round and you get the 24, ranked number 24 team that beats the 8 or whoever it's going to be on one side of the bracket? And then what happens if in another game you get that again? And now those 2 teams that are coming off big upsets got to play each other. And now instead of Boise State going to play Georgia in round 2 in the freaking Chick-fil-A Bowl. It's Boise State playing Georgia Tech, who just got done upsetting somebody. And now, and okay, now we're on to round 3. Now, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's some possibilities to go a little further based on matchups and based on who you're going to have to play. Because and again, like maybe they're not going to win the whole thing still, but they're going to get closer. Or you know what I mean? You get more access and another chance at it. I don't know, but
I don't see the downside again of playing more football, where you've eliminated a couple games throughout the year. You've moved the schedule up. Like, you can work it out. I don't see the negatives from any aspect of playing more meaningful football in December. Like, you're going to get more ratings in the bowl games. I promise you that. The first, second, third, like there's no question about it. So I don't know what's people's like complaints. They go, I don't want to see blowouts and bad football. Well, we had that the last
we get that
2-3 years. So like,
well, and you know what else they say is, oh, it takes away the meaning of the regular season. Yeah, maybe it takes away the meaning of the regular season when Ohio State plays Texas in week 1, maybe. But you know what it brings? It elevates is the week 10 game between 5-3 Toledo and 6-2 Bowling Green, because that's a playoff game that maybe nobody was going to watch except us and except Toledo, MAC fans. But now you're looking at it and say, okay, well, here's a team that's on the outside looking in, but if they win this game, they're number 1 in their conference, and they might be hosting a playoff game.
That's right.
And so I think you bring meaning to those games, and then you bring meaning to those top 10, those preseason top 10, like they're going to have to lose like 3 or 4 games before they're even moved out of the top. We saw it with Notre Dame. They start the season 0-2. They're still ranked in the damn top 15 last year. Notre Dame, by the way, in this, I mean, you could just put them in.
Yeah,
you can just pencil them in. So now 23 teams have a chance to make the college football playoff. They have just swindled everybody, dude.
Sure
it's
have.
unreal. But so those teams are going to get in. If you're preseason top 10 and you don't lose 5 games, you're probably getting in. But for the teams that start unranked, for the teams that got to be 10-0 before they even receive votes, those games matter. Every single one of them matters. Those Tuesday night action games, when a playoff spot's on the line, you can bet your ass people will tune in. You're all about the ratings.
No
You
doubt.
can bet your ass people will tune in to watch those games. You can bet your ass you'll get some more students that show up and watch those games on the weeknight or the weekends.
Yeah, potential playoff spot on the line. Come on, you don't. I mean, it's again. Show me the negatives.
Jeff, on November 7th, when the mighty Blue Raiders host the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky in Johnny Red Floyd Stadium for homecoming? For homecoming?
I got to give credit. I don't know who
It's a playoff game.
did that, but finally, we are getting 100 miles of hate at the end of the season and homecoming. It's right after my birthday.
I don't like that, Jeff.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
We either
Jeff,
be going to the conference championship game or spoiling Westerns.
well, Jeff, we got to talk about this. So this came out. I don't remember who tweeted this out, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you credit for it. But this Power 4 school records versus ranked opponents in the CFP era came out. Have you seen this?
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
So Bama, of course, is like 62-17. So they've been running through these ranked teams. But take a gander at the right column. Rutgers 0-37 versus ranked opponents
Nebraska.
in the CFP era. Nebraska,
Where's
home of the resources.
Will Compton? Where you at?
Home of the resources, home of the facilities, 2-34 against ranked opponents in the CFP era. Maryland, 4-38. Boston College, 4-32. I mean, you go all the way up. Louisville at the top of that column. You move over a whole nother column. North Carolina, 9-20. Now you're at the top half.
Yeah.
Of Power 4 opponents. Stanford, 16-35. Georgia Tech, 14-30. The Mighty Volunteers of Tennessee, 18-38. against ranked opponents.
Hell, Kentucky's got a better record than they do.
We move over to the left side. We move into the top. Let's see. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You go past the top 10, and every single team is below 500 against ranked opponents. And the top 10 are LSU, Washington, TCU is 23 and 20 against ranked opponents, and TCU gets more crap than anybody else.
Sure do.
For not deserving to be there and this and that. Oregon, number 1 team in the country all the time, 29 and 24. Notre Dame, better than you think, 32 and 24. Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. I'd say Oregon, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama have been the best 6 or 7 programs in the country over the last decade, probably.
And what have we said for the last 4 to 5 years?
Jeff, have we said that there's about 6 or 7 schools that are just a little bit different? And here's, you know, that have you seen the billboard? I think PETA puts out the billboard, and it has all the animals on the billboard, and it has, you know where I'm going with this? It has like a puppy, and then it has a cat, and then it has like something else, and then it has a horse, and then it has a cow, and then it has a chicken, and it draws like a line, and it says, where do you draw the line of what's edible or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
This is what I thought about. So where do you draw the line of, you're looking at this graphic, where do you draw the line of what's a quote, a different sport, or what's a different level of football that we watch? Because it sure as hell ain't in that right column.
Nope.
It sure as hell ain't in that second column. It sure as hell ain't in the third column. With UCF, BYU, Houston, those are group of 5 teams 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You get over to the left column, and you probably could say, okay, yeah, Oregon, Notre Dame, although Notre Dame routinely loses to group of 5 schools. Oregon, toe-to-toe with Boise just 2 years ago. So, I mean, that's probably where my line is over the course of the last decade or two. So there's 5 or 6.
What's crazy too is Michigan is down there at 24 and 29. And they're honestly probably one from a physicality standpoint that are a bit different. And you just take away the Harbaugh years.
That's right.
They were pretty much irrelevant.
Well, that's what you're seeing. Like, there's some teams on here that, like, maybe they've been good lately, or they were good 10 years ago and they've kind of fallen off a little bit. You know what I mean? And you look at Bama, right? I mean, Bama ain't gonna be 62 and 17 10 years from now against ranked opponents.
Well, here's the other thing. How many of that 17? Probably not as many as I think, but how many of that 17 has come from DeBoer?
Just recently?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, more in the last 2 years than in a while.
Yeah.
Well, and then here's the other part, and obviously, Bama's the blueprint, right? Maybe not anymore. Maybe it's Georgia. Maybe it's Ohio State. Hell, maybe it's Indiana.
Saban was the blueprint.
Right. Saban was the blueprint. But let me preface, how many of those 62 were, hey, Bama's about to play Missouri, rank them 24.
Very true.
Hey, Bama's about to play Mississippi State, rank them. You know what I mean? So there's also that. I mean, these guys get the opportunity. But I'll tell you right now, give me Boise State, Tulane, James Madison, all these guys, and give me 37 games against ranked opponents. I promise they win more than 0 of them.
Yeah.
But guess who's collecting Big Ten checks? Rutgers.
Scarlet Knights.
Nebraska. Maryland.
Just look at Nebraska. That's crazy. 2 and 34. Yet every year, oh, we're back. Cornhuskers are back.
Every year they got the next Patrick Mahomes.
They got one of the biggest, donor bases. I don't know how wealthy their donor bases are, but they got one of the biggest brands, that's for sure.
And and I know this is like the whole premise of our show and our organization, if you will, is like, see, I'm not saying Like, because I'm sure somebody's going to point to like the Group of 5 overall record against the SEC or whatever, and that's because you're getting, no disrespect to anybody, but that's because you're getting a bad Kent State playing Georgia and Athens. You're not getting, you know what I mean? Like, you're not often getting the Toledo Mississippi State game because that's when you win that. Like nobody's sitting here saying that the bad teams in the Group of 5 are as good as Georgia and Alabama. We're not saying that. But the good teams in the Group of 5 are sure as hell better than the mid to bad teams in the Power 4. That's why Fresno State routinely beats old Pac-12 Stanfords and Cals and those guys. That's why Hawaii could go beat Stanford and Cal and UCLA and all these teams. It happens all the time. That's why Tulane can beat Kansas State and beat Duke. They might not beat Ole Miss, who's a play away from a national championship, but they'll beat the other ones. Anyway, we got to change gears, Jeff, before we end the show. Well, Jeff, we've been doing this kind of Group of 5 like legend series on the socials. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back through, like, we've kind of been doing like not necessarily the best player ever, but a lot of them are that. And as we go back through, I think I'm going to tweak it and do more like a you might have forgot about this guy, but he was a legend in his time at this place. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But it got me curious because I was thinking, like, especially when I did Colt Brennan, because I know you were a big Colt Brennan guy growing up, kind of influenced you a little bit in your football style. But I wanted to go and like think about growing up. Like, who's the first player that you like? Who's the first football player that almost got you wanting to play football? Do you remember?
I mean, truthfully, like, probably not the first, right? But I'm gonna go. Colt Brennan was by far. I was in high school when he was at Hawaii. I was like just obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Like, I wore the quarter half sleeves on both forearms, like got an Oakley visor as tinted as it could go. I mean, that was my guy. I changed my throwing motion to come a little bit sidearm. Like, it was, that was my guy. That was who I watched. I was a West Coast kid, grew up watching him. And then Devon Best being from Skyline too, being one of his receivers. It was like, okay, here's a guy from the town too, like playing wideout for him. I love this combo, being a quarterback too, like the run and shoot, like you're just throwing it 40, 50 times a game. Like that was my guy. Now I grew up a Cal Bear fan. So obviously too, like Aaron Rodgers, Kyle Bowler could freaking rip the ball. And that was when I was real young.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what about when you were like real little, like who you like, I don't know. I always did this thing where like I had like one of those little Nerf footballs or whatever. And I'd set up all the pillows on the bed and I would truck them into the goal line. Cause for me, like it was Emmitt Smith was like the first.
Yeah.
Then, and a lot of that was because I'll never forget it. It would have been I think 95. The Super Bowl was in Miami. It was 49ers and Chargers. And I went to the they do like the Super Bowl experience or whatever, where you just go like day before and you get to put your hand in the handprints and stuff. And that's when I like started really liking football. And then the next Super Bowl was the Cowboys. And of course the Cowboys were always on, Cowboys, Steelers, 49ers, and they were good back then. So for me, it was like Emmitt Smith. Now, then of course, like found out real quick, probably not going to be playing a running back. So then it was like, so it was Emmitt Smith was like the first one. I had the jersey and all the things. Then as I start really liking football and I start watching the Dolphins, Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Dolphins were always really good on defense. In my time, unfortunately, I didn't get much of Marino. So like, but Zach, I wore 54 all throughout school because of Zach Thomas. And then as I like really figured out I was a lineman, you know what I'm saying? Like as around that sophomore year of high school, when it's like, okay, like you're a lineman, like you're pretty good. Like you might be able to play it, into college or whatever. Then I start really watching those really good left tackles, freaking Jonathan Ogden, Orlando Pace. Like those, it's funny, like those are the guys. Like, dude, like I'll never forget me and my buddies, like on the O line in high school, like it would always be a joke. Like, I'm watching freaking Orlando Pace, dude. I don't care about, I don't know who else was Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and those guys. I'm watching Orlando Pace. I'm watching Jonathan Ogden. Forget about Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. I'm watching the left tackle.
No doubt. Yeah, and then I would say too, before Colt Brennan for me too, some about sidearm quarterbacks, we had Rich Gannon, came to the Raiders in 99, played, through 2004, something like that. And I mean, and then you had Chuck, that was Chucky at his like height too. So
yeah,
you just had two sidearm slingers, man. Rich Gannon could freaking run that offense and just put that ball right in windows. Anticipation was out of this world. So I would say probably Rich Gannon first. And then as continue, obviously like you had your classic guys too. And it's like a faux pas being a Raider fan, but like I always respected the hell out of John Elway. That guy could rip the ball too. And then, you get into high school and Colt Brennan's there and you got a bunch of, A-Rod, like there's just so many good quarterbacks back then. And like quarterbacks too, back in the day, like you had to know how to read defenses, audible out, change plays, like get out of bad plays into good plays. Like I always respected Tom Brady too. Just the mind of him and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Is unmatched. And you'll hear like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, because they went toe to toe with those quarterbacks at that time. And was like, man, I saw this clip with Ray Lewis, who was specifically talking about the difference in Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. He's like, Tom Brady would cut you with 1,000 paper cuts until you just bled out. And he was like, but Peyton Manning would go right at your throat, right off the rib. And it was just funny to hear him talk about it and how good they had to be to disguise defenses, where I feel like a lot of quarterbacks nowadays, like they really don't do that as much. So I always respect, just the OGs being like just almost locked in, nerdy, know what the defense is in before the snap of the ball.
Dude, one of my favorite things when I listen to either current or former NFL guys talk, I love hearing them talk about a guy like they'll always get asked like who's the best guy you ever played against, and they'll always say a guy that is not the guy that you'd think. You know what I mean? Like they'll ask an offensive lineman like you think they're going to say Aaron Donald, and they'll be like, just say somebody you may have never heard of.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, that guy just gives me problems because he's got, this reach and this, and he does this. And then like, that's another clip too. It's funny you said Ray Lewis, because Ed Reed has a clip too. And him and Peyton Manning, and he was talking about that chess match of like, he knew that Peyton Manning knew that every time they were in a certain coverage, he would do something. So then he like, it was like Peyton Manning knew he was going to do something, but then Ed Reed knew Peyton Manning was going to know he was going to do it. So then he flipped around. He did something, flipped his hips a certain way and intercepted him or whatever. That stuff is like, it's so fun, man, to hear them talk about that stuff.
It's so next level. It just, I get fired up listening and hearing them talk about it.
There was another one. I can't even freaking remember this, the DB that it was. Damn. Was talking about receivers. He was talking about it with freaking Ryan Clark and those guys. And he like listed like Tyreek Hill and all these guys that you would think. And then he was like, that dude Hunter Renfro's bad, man.
Yeah.
And of course, Ryan Clark was like, you talking about, of course,
I think it was Derwin James actually for the Chargers.
It was Derwin James. And then he was like, yeah, like you watch the tape, like watch him.
He was like, encyclopedia salesman.
Yeah, he had to throw a shot at the guy, but it's funny when players, like the players know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the players always know who's tough and who's like the fan. We know, we watch, but there's all those little intricacies that you don't see because we don't study the tape like they do.
Yeah.
We don't go through the game plan like they do. We aren't lined up watching their eyes and watching their hips and all those things that those guys do. Just phenomenal stuff. Anyway, Jeff, we got one voicemail, right? Before we call it.
Yeah, we do.
Look, you guys call the hotline as we get into this. Give us your take. You got the 2014 playoff proposal. Give us your take, how you think they should seed it, how you think they're gonna seed it, what that means for the group of 5 or the group of 6. How do you think, we fit in there? Do we get 5 teams? Do we get 6 teams? Do we get 1? Do we get, 3? Or what are they going to do with the group of 6? But anyway, it's 615-900-4286. Jeff, we'll see what we got.
Group of 5 guys. This is Sean checking in here. I got a couple quick thoughts and then a really important question I need to put out there. After the draft, you see particularly with Navy, a couple guys drafted, players signed, even from some of the other academies. But you look at those guys that were just drafted, that were, Kenya Matalolo recruits. And this happens in football, right? You kind of have to wonder if he was stuck around there, would have been another cycle of success. But boy, I tell you, there's a lot to be said for timing. Brian Newberry got to enjoy a lot of talent there, and he's done a great job. But boy, it goes to show you the level of talent that was sitting in there that he got to assume. So we'll see what happens now as they reload. And a lot of the talk around the playoff expansion, and while playoff is running way late into the year, the current NHL playoffs are on, and it got me thinking, instead of expanding the playoffs or running these playoffs so late, it wouldn't be healthy, but boy, it'd be really compelling. Can you imagine, even if it's a best of 3 series, instead of having more teams, but less teams with a longer series, right? You see a couple of these teams play, it's so hard to beat a team twice, they talk about all the time. So just to see a series, I think it'd be super compelling. It'll never happen, but just an interesting thought. And Matt, this one's for you. I've got a big question, man. I'm in a part of the world, the Northeast, the rain, everything's coming. What deck level on the mower should I be setting here? I'm struggling, man. Struggling to keep up. No HOA here. I'm just a non-NIL funded group of 5 yard. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. God bless you. Hope you're all well.
Oh, that's great.
The thing is, I don't know. Mine is on like 2 inches, but I'm not in the north. I mean, my grass is really not good. I've got Bermuda grass, but I got some weeds right now. I'm having some problems right now.
You gotta spray it. Pre-emergent, post-emergent.
No, you it's bad for the environment and it's bad for your health, Jeff. It causes cancer. Did you know that there's like a 300+% chance of cancer if you live within a mile of a golf course? Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
Because of the turf applications, the runoff into the water, the pesticides.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I've become crunchy. Ask, we need to get Coach Drinkle back on. I bet you he knows all about it. He's all about that stuff. But so I don't know, dude.
We hadn't got a lot of rain down here. To be honest with you, we're in a bit of a drought.
We were
growing like crazy.
We were, dude. We were in a drought, and then it poured last week. It's pouring right now.
Yeah.
Dude, it rained on Friday like all day, and we had T-ball on Saturday. Dude, Jeff, we got a big problem because the league sent out a text to all the coaches. And he was like, guys, here's our options. Do we want to play? And they did a poll. Jeff, I was the only coach that said, I want to play. But then, what I was really proud of, though? I polled my parents in our group message. I said, hey, here's the deal. It's going to rain all day. Our game's supposed to be at 1:30 on Saturday. I'll get out there with the rake, and I'll get the damn field together. And then I was like, but if we can, do y'all want to play? Or should we cancel it now? It was like Thursday, and they were preparing for the Friday storm. And I was like, do y'all want to cancel it now? And I was like, I want to play. My team voted 10-1 on play. So then I said, I got my whole team ready to square up. Dude, does anybody want to play? And I got one coach to agree to play. I was out there, dude. So it's T-ball. They freaking we're just over there.
Yeah.
We got our own little field. But the A and B ball field, dude, there was 30 guys out there with power tools, leaf blowers, side by sides, like doing the whole thing, getting it ready to go. The T-ball field had one rake and one bag of that kitty litter stuff. Same kitty litter that they used at Club 11 for Lance Campbell.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, Jeff? Dude, I'm out there. I raked the whole field. We got that thing ready to go. And Old Monsters, the T-ball Monsters put on a clinic out there.
There you go.
So anyway, I'm not sure why I brought that up, but that's all we got. I don't know what level to put your deck on, Sean. I'm not, my grass, I make it look.
Well, it depends too what you're riding now.
Yeah, like how big's your property? Are you on a dang?
Yeah,
Are you on a big Kubota zero turn, $70,000 piece of equipment, or do you have a battery? You have a 40-volt Ryobi battery powered mower, or are you out there with the real mower? Like a golf course style. Then you got to mow damn near every day if you got the real mower.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It depends. We'll follow up. I'll show you when I got to mow tomorrow. I'll get the stripes out. I'll get the striper out. I'll stripe the yard tomorrow.
I'm headed to Indy tomorrow.
To what?
Indianapolis.
What are you doing there?
Old Ty Watson's wedding.
Are you really?
Yeah, me and Scarlett are headed up there for a quick
trip up there.
Quick. Thursday, Friday, coming back probably 5 a.m. Saturday for baseball.
Oof. Driving?
Yeah, it's only 5 hours.
Hmm.
Not bad.
It's not bad. You need to get up there for the combine. But hey, anyway, hope you like the show. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody listening. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit the follow on all the social media platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the Group of Five Guys presented by FanDuel. Tell your family and friends all about us. We're out of here.